Speaking to a man who is no stranger to the Observer, Couva South MP and UNC Shadow Minister of Labour, Rudranath Indarsingh. Pleasant good evening to you, Mr. Indarsingh.
A pleasant good evening to you, Mikee K. Once again, a pleasure for me to be on the Observer.
Thank you so much,
your
comrade.
listening and viewing audience.
Yes. Paria platform, a call for justice. Tell us, that's happening this Saturday, the 24th at the Couva Courthouse, and proceeds to the Couva South Multi-Purpose Hall. And let's tell us what it's all about.
Well, as you know, on Sunday the 25th will be the second anniversary of this, what we may term state-sanctioned murder. The Commission of Inquiry, headed by King's Counsel Jerome Lynch, has concluded that indeed officials at Paria are culpable as it relates to corporate manslaughter. The second anniversary is being observed in the constituency of Couva South. As you would know, the first anniversary we observed it with a tree planting ceremony on the Couva South constituency grounds, where we planted trees in honor of the 4 deceased divers. This was done by members of their respective families and the lone survivor, Christopher Budram. And we feel that on the eve of the second anniversary, that we need to keep this matter alive in the public domain. We need to continue the pressure that has been applied or put on the government of Trinidad and Tobago, because at the end of the day, Paria is a state-owned entity. The board of directors is appointed by the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago. It is owned by the people of this country. And the government in action needs some kind of people pressure. I made the point that when the Commission of Inquiry's report was laid in the parliament of this country, it was merely the beginning of the journey to continue that sustained struggle for justice on behalf of the families. Because you see, the deceit and the hypocrisy continues. The report has been laid, and we do not have a roadmap in front of us in terms of when will the government implement the recommendations of the report. Forget what the DPP has to do, but there are recommendations as it relates to the health and safety, the work environment in this country. There's also a clear call for the emergence of deep-sea diving regulations and so on. And by now, you thought that the government, through the Minister of Energy and Energy Affairs, the Minister of Labor, the Prime Minister of the country, would have outlined a roadmap. And then, you know, the hypocrisy and the deceit. We must never fall victim to the propaganda and the deceit and the hypocrisy of this Prime Minister that is called Dr. Keith Rowley. Because you must remember when the pressure started to mount on him and the findings were not in favor of Paria, and there were cries of injustice and so on because of the government's inaction and the way Paria handled the whole tragedy. We were told that the Prime Minister said that he was willing to meet with the families. What has happened to his goodwill and his intent and so on?
Yeah, Mr. Indarsingh, what has happened to that for real? I mean, people are asking, I mean, it's all good and well. I mean, the families definitely want some closure to all of this. I mean, the ruling is out there. Each and every one of us know exactly what took place during the Commission of Inquiry. You have the attorneys and what have you. But at the same time, this poor corporate governance that is taking place in this country, not just at Paria, but also at TSTT and so many other companies, and these boards are still there. These individuals are still there unless there's some political interference and some people are kicked out and pushed aside. But all in all, there are individuals who seem to be untouchable. And I'm sure that the families themselves are asking questions. If it is that the responsibility was on these individuals to save our relatives, then why are they still employed at Paria?
Paria, the question begs itself. The board was found to be, well, the operations of or the management and Paria. The Paria is the board, Paria is the management. And up till today, that board still remains in place. It is only in Trinidad and Tobago. That is unheard of in terms of good governance and ethical practices and so on. I mean, if any of them had any decency, they would have resigned. They would have even waited on the government. And then the Prime Minister, whose cabinet appoints these boards, as very, very hypocritical and deceitful. Why keep the board when the findings of the Commission of Inquiry is very clear in terms of who was responsible for this tragedy? And you are quite right. You are quite right, Mikee K.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder, Mr. Indarsingh, because there are people who are there and they don't run their private enterprise the way they do. So it begs a question as to exactly who is making these people feel that they're untouchable and they can get away basically with murder. Let's put it where it needs to be put, with murder.
That is the only phrase we can use, allowing to get away with murder. That is the phrase that is applicable. And it begs the question, why is the Prime Minister and the Cabinet protecting the board of Paria? In addition to that, you are quite right. What has transpired at TSTT, I'm a member of the Joint Select Committee on State Enterprises, and it is unbelievable what has transpired at TSTT. And in fact, it came out very clear from the words of the former CEO, Lisa Agard, that in their whole communication strategy when the data breach occurred, that TSTT board and so on, and TSTT said, communicate with the Prime Minister, the President, MPs, Permanent Secretaries, business enterprises, but leave the public last in terms, in fact, don't communicate with the public, but the public is the core of TSTT's operations. And you would wonder why a board would take such a decision. And in addition to that, even more dangerous, the chairman of the board requested the information on the credit card holders and so on.
Yeah, with the cyber attack, yeah.
And they said, why would a chairman of a board ask for this information and have this information in his possession? The board has to answer. And also, the minister must come clean in terms of public utilities and tell the government of Trinidad and tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago who misled him when he was for misleading the parliament and when he was virtually brought before the Privileges Committee. We must never forget that he had to apologize to the parliament and by extension the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because the minister was caught with his pants down based on his supplemental question that I had posed.
That's right. And we need to know if instructions were given to muzzle or gag this board. You see, that's the thing. We, the people, have so many questions that we want answered. And even when we go through the process of a commission of inquiry, the JSC, and it shows quite well where the onus is on these individuals who have brought all of this chaos about, it seems like the political dictatorate is telling you something else. Well, we know they're wrong, we know they're incompetent, we know they're costing taxpayers money, but we, the political, is saying, listen, they can stay there, it's all good and well. And this is something we cannot accept. And we shouldn't.
They are sending a very clear signals to the citizens of this country who are indeed the shareholders of Paria, the true shareholders and owners of TSTT. To hell with the public. We don't care about you. You could say what you want. That is the issue this is the issue as it relates to the state of affairs in this country. And Dr. Rowley, when he campaigned, said that he promised good governance and ethics across the board and so on. All that has collapsed under him. And I think the only way we will stop what is occurring in this country is to boot out this government, politically out of government.
All right, let's get back here. Paria platform call for justice. Come walk with us. Saturday, 24th February 2024. This Saturday, 8:30 a.m. Couva Courthouse to the Couva South Multi-Purpose Hall. Tell us a little about the logistics, what people can reach out to. They want to join. They want to come and be a part of this. Tell us, please.
All right, right-thinking citizens, I urge you to join the families of the deceased divers and the lone survivor, Christopher Budram. You know also the OWTU has been prosecuting this issue in the public domain, and we must never forget that the UNC under the leadership of Kamla Prasad Bisasa, we were responsible for getting the government to appoint this commission of inquiry into Paria. We are saying that the second anniversary must not be allowed to occur in a very silent way, and we are encouraging all to join us at the Couva Magistrates Court outside the compound near the gates on Saturday morning. We are starting the assembly at 8 o'clock. Wear white. We have already liaised with the Couva police station to proceed from the Couva courthouse to the Couva South Multipurpose Hall along the southern main road in Couva, and we will hear from members of the families and so on. And we are continuing to ensure that we listen to the concerns of the families, their plight, and how they have been treated, how this whole issue has been mishandled, and the very important issue of keeping that public pressure on the government of Trinidad and Tobago to compensate the families without admitting any sort of culpability through Paria, and also to continue that great struggle to ensure that the recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry is implemented by the government, and also from a health and safety point of view, that the workplace is not compromised in such a way that we have a reoccurrence of this tragedy.
All right. So thank you so much, Comrade, for linking with us here this evening, folks. Get in touch with MP Rudranath Indarsingh. It's all about the Paria platform, a call for justice. The families are going to be there. You're going to have speakers as well. So please, this Saturday, 8:30 a.m. at the Couva Courthouse. They're assembling at 8 o'clock. Please wear white. And of course, they will then proceed to the Couva South Multi-Purpose Hall. Everything has been cleared with the police. So again, hats off to the members of the TTPS down there in Couva. Thank you so much, Mr. Indarsingh, and best of luck to you and your entire team. And we'll be checking in with you periodically. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.